Hello everyone, this is Lokeshwari from 1st MSc Microbiology, Sacred Heart College, Tirupattur. Let us discuss about the topic humoral immunity and cellular immunity. First, immunity is the ability of the body to protect against all type of foreign bodies like bacteria, virus, toxic substance, etc. which enter the body. Immunity can be defined as the body's ability to defend against infection. It is the primary way of protecting the body against an infectious disease. And as immune system recognizes an antigen, it attacks it. The word immunity came from a Latin word meaning immunitas. Antigens are attached to the surface of the pathogen and stimulate an immune response in the body. Immune response in the body's defense system is used to fight against antigens and protects the body. Immunity is also as disease resistant. The lack of immunity is known as susceptibility. There are two types of immunity. They are innate immunity and acquired immunity. Innate immunity is the defense against infection which can be activated immediately once a pathogen attacks. It is the body's first line of defense. Innate immunity is present by the birth. It is of four types. They are physical, physiological, cellular and cytokines. This type of immunity is not as strong as acquired immunity. This is the immune response which our body recognizes and defends itself against bacteria, virus and substances that appear foreign and harmful. This immune system always protects the body from harmful substance by recognizing and responding to the antigens. Antigens are the substance on the surface of the cell, virus, fungi or the bacteria. These substances always contain antigen. Body cells have proteins which are contain antigens. This includes a group of antigens called HLA antigens. Innate immunity is an immunity that occurs naturally as a result of a person's genetic constitution or physiologically and do not arise from a previous infection or vaccination. Innate immunity is also called as natural immunity or non-specific immunity or genetic immunity or inherited immunity. Acquired immunity is the immunity that an individual acquires after the birth is called as adaptive immunity or specific immunity. Acquired immunity is the immunity which an body acquires over time. Unlike innate immunity, it is not present by the birth. The ability of the immune system to adapt itself to the disease and to generate the pathogen specific immunity is termed as acquired immunity. As an individual acquires the immunity after the birth, it is called as acquired immunity. They are specific and mediated by the antibodies or the lymphocytes which can make the antigen harmless. The main function of the acquired immunity is to relieve the victim of the infectious disease and also preventing it from the attack in future. Acquired immunity is an immunity produced by the exposure of an organism to the antigen which stimulates the production of the antibody. It is specific and mediated by the antibodies or the lymphocytes or both which can make the antigen harmless. The main function of the acquired immunity is to relieve the victim of the infectious disease and also prevents the attack in future. The components of the acquired immunity includes, it has two components. They are humoral immunity or cellular immunity. Humoral immunity is otherwise known as antibody mediated immunity and cellular immunity is otherwise known as cell mediated. Humoral immunity. It is otherwise known as antibody mediated immunity. The humoral immunity is mediated through the antibodies. Humoral immune response is the antibodies which is produced by the lymphocytes and present in the blood cells. They are all transported over the body. It consists of an antibody produced by the B lymphocytes. It depends upon the action of antibodies circulating in the body. When an antibody on a B cell binds with an antigen, humoral immunity comes into play. The antigen is then internalized by the B cell and presented on the helper T cell. This activates the B cell. Binding of the antibody to the antigen neutralizes the microbes and target them for the elimination by various effector mechanisms. Antibodies are then produced by the B cells. These antibodies bound to the specific microbial antigens. Humoral immunity is the major defense mechanism against the extracellular microbes which is present in the effector mechanism. They are used to invade the host system. Examples of the humoral immunity include a mother's antibody being passed from her body to the fetus body. Artificial active immunity which is built when an antigen enters the body in the death or attenuated form via vaccine. And humoral immunity. Humoral immunity is the combination of an antibody and an antigen which releases out the B lymphocyte. Cell-mediated immunity. It is otherwise known as cellular immunity. Cell-mediated immunity is facilitated by the activated Th cells, which is otherwise known as T helper cells, and cytotoxic T lymphocytes, which is otherwise known as CTLS. Cytokines then secreted by the T helper cells activates the phagocytotic cells. These activated phagocytotic cells then phagocytoses and kill the microbes. Cell-mediated immune response is initiated by the T helper cells. They eliminated the infected cells from the body by releasing toxins and thereby promoting apoptosis or programmed cell death. The T helper cells help to activate other immune cells. Then the cell-mediated immunity becomes clear in case of a transplant patient. Cell-mediated immunity is particularly important against the bacterial and protozoan pathogens. Some of them are antigen-presenting cells, lymphocytes, mast cells, natural killer cells, and polymorphonuclear. Cellular-mediated immune response is activated by the foreign protein, virus, bacteria, those who are present in the host. The host is then activated by the humoral response and cellular response. Humoral response process B cell activated by the B cell receptor and releases out an antigen. Then the antigen secretes and divided into plasma cells. Then the plasma cells are eliminating an antigen, then produces an antigen with the help of T helper cells. Cellular responses. Cellular responses activated the T cells. It binds to a T cell receptor and divided into two parts. One, T helper cells and cytotoxic T cells. Then the T helper cells releases out the T cell receptor. Next, T C cell releases out the TH cell. Then it binds with the cytokines. Then it releases out the cell called as. Thank you.